Hello survivors, hi family and friends, this is Roy from Bootsy Sweetheart's Guide to Life and Other Disappointing Experiences. Do the words "cuff 'em, Danno" bring up memories of criminals being handcuffed? Well, the word "cuff 'em" to a crafter has a whole different meaning. Here is today's project, making a wrist cuff. So this project is a wrist cuff. This one is made from reclaimed denim and reclaimed flannel. They've become very, very popular, and I'm going to be making a couple of these for gifts for people. This is a prototype. It's not exactly the one I'm going to demonstrate, but it's one that I want to show. And the closure here is a button closure with some ponytail elastic. And there's some decorative ribbon, which I'm going to use on the project. And on the back I have a flannel backing. So let me get started on this, and I hope you enjoy it. This project is so much fun from the beginning to the end, every step along the way. It uses up a lot of little thingies. It goes together quickly, puts your imagination to work. You can decorate it as any way you'd like. And here are the ingredients. I trimmed this off to match, and you'll see in a bit. We're going to put this together. This is the closure. There'll be a button on each side. Let me show you this side. There'll be a button on each side, and this is a ponytail holder, and I've taken some stitches to close off one end so that it will be underneath the button, which will take a little getting used to since I took it off to show you, and it'll stay there secure once I sew the button in, and it makes a great closure. And in this particular one's a strong, strong. So let's get to assembling the wrist cuff. The first thing I do is, of course, get a pair of old jeans. These are blue jeans. The actual cuff I'm making is with a pair of black jeans. And I just eyeball about 3 inches, but I want to cut it evenly, so I do measure it once I decide on how wide it should be. I use scissors. Could use the rotary cutter, but the fabric is so thick I don't want to take a chance of hurting the blade or slipping. Then I cut out the seams because they're very thick, especially with denim. The directions that I've seen call for somewhere around 6 3/4 to 7 1/4 inches, so I left room for seam allowances. And the fun step, this takes a little while. I thought it was going to be quicker. It's brainless work, but you have to fringe the edge, and on denim it's really tightly woven, so it's not as easy as I thought it was going to be. But once you get the rhythm, you'll see this particular fabric happens to be a slightly stretched kind of fabric, so the weave is tight and almost like a double knit. So you keep doing that until you're happy with the size of the fringe, and you'll see now this is the size on the black jeans that looked appropriate. I'm adding a back lining so the denim isn't so rough on the skin, and it's so funny that they use the word harvest when they're talking about gathering material and fabric from old garments. So I'm harvesting the flannel from an old flannel shirt that has a lot of bleach stains on the bottom. I'm being careful to cut the cuff off because, believe it or not, this cuff will become another wrist cuff. It's already hidden a lot of the edges. So I take the sleeve, lay it out, I pressed it so it was flat, and I used the denim band to give me the dimensions. A little crooked there, but I fixed that. Just try to keep in line with the design of the fabric, even though it's going to be on the back. Whatever salvage is left, you may want to use it on another project. Well, I will use it on another project, so I want that piece left over to be really usable. Flannel is wonderful too. I use that sometimes instead of batting in small quilt projects, so none of this goes to waste. Our really good condition shirts, of course, go to the thrift shop at church. Now here you see it lines up, and I've cut a little bit more generous to hide the raw edges of the lining. I'm folding them in lengthwise, and they will be hidden on the back of the cuff. Choosing embellishments for these cuffs are the real fun parts of the project. I have a little box that I'll put things in as I'm thinking of it, and I've found this ribbon that's fringed. It's a beautiful cloth ribbon, and it's fringed on both edges. So I'm going to sew that on at the top of the band with the stitch down each side of the band, being careful not to catch the fringe on the band or the ribbon. It's very simple, just to straighten. You'll notice at this point the lining is still not sewn on. I just got it ready so it'll go quickly. And this made a big difference in how the band is going to look. It's close up on the fringe. It's hard to see, but it's a lot of texture. I knew I wanted to add something with crochet, so I put aside some of my little crochet medallions and flowers, and found 3 medallions, one large one and 2 small ones that I had made, and glued buttons in them. The middle one, this bigger one, has some beautiful crystals in it. So there's the bling I was looking for, and pretty silver buttons. And I thought that this would add some sparkle and some elegance to what would be really an informal piece of jewelry. I think it turned out nice. Now, what I'm going to do is connect the 3 of them together. So I dug out my little collection of buttons that I had put aside. I have a gazillion buttons. And I settled in on these black shank buttons, and they'll be perfect for wrapping the elastic around the buttons. I used ponytails holder for this, and instead of this elastic that I found, the ponytail holders look much better. The last embellishment that I thought would look pretty would be some charms of some kind. So I went through my charm collection, pulled out a few. I think they looked good attached to the 2 small medallions on each end. And I just had to figure out how to attach it. And I thought small chain might be nice. Here's a close-up of the embellishment, and now it's giving me a lot of inspiration for other projects and a way to use up some of these little thingies that I crochet all the time. And I have so many I don't know what to do with them. This is a perfect solution. I'm going to attach the backing to the denim band. This is, I didn't tell you earlier, this is a second set of jeans, second pair that I was no longer using. They had holes and stains, but I managed to get a lot of fabric out of those jeans, and they're black, which is nice because the person I'm giving this to is a little on the goth side. So what I'm going to do first is place the backing on the band, and you'll notice it's the right width to secure it inside the fringe so it doesn't show through. I'm going to sew down the edges here first, turn it inside out, right side out, and I'll show you how that works. It'll hide these raw edges on the side. Come over to the machine with me, going here, and I'm taking 1/4 of an inch. That should be enough, and it'll be on both edges. Okay, my cutter isn't working, so we do it the old-fashioned way. And this is the other side. Oops. So now this is stitched here, and it's stitched along here, and all I do is flip it inside out, right side out, right side in, inside right. Well, anyway, flip it over. The folded edge now is wrong sides together. We have a nice finished back. The next step is to run a line of stitches between the two lines of fringe to secure the fabric to the flannel, the jeans to the flannel. And I want to make sure I don't catch any of the fringe, so I'm going to sew from the right side, the top rather than the bottom, and hope that I catch. No, I will catch this. Okay, back to the machine. And right down the middle. And now this is all secure. Nice. The next step is to apply the embellishment. This is turning out so pretty. And I've decided to do two things. One, I gotta be careful because of the medallion, the center medallion going way past the solid part of the denim. I don't want to get glue into the fringy part. So I'm going to glue the center down and hand tack from the back the medallion in a couple of places. So I'm going to just glue this. The glue will serve a second function, and that's to seal these little knots. And I attached it with a piece of felt, and now I'm going to put the glue on top of the knots, and this will stay on there for sure. So I'm just going to run a bead of glue. This one, don't miss anything. There we go. Well, let me be quiet while I center this. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now put a little more glue on the outside edges here and then tack it down. There. Oh, nice, nice. Then as soon as this dries and I tack it down, I'll put a button on each side, and we're almost ready to put it in a gift box. Let me finish this up and I'll be with you when this dries. Now I've added some tacking to the bottom of the bands so that the medallions will stay down, although the glue will hold them really well. And now I'm going to attach buttons. I use upholstery thread because this is going to be used quite a bit. It's going to have some stress. I'm going to go back over these knots with some fray check just to be sure. Now I had measured this to be 7 inches, a little less, because the elastic in the ponytail holder will make up for some of the distance, so I don't want it to be too loose. If you want, you can put a second button so that it's adjustable. Now I'm finding the center of the band and I'll put the button on. I doubled the upholstery thread. It's not going to go anywhere, I'm telling you. Famous last words. Now this side, I'm going to go through the button shank, holding in the piece of elastic, and that will not go anywhere. Let's see, here we go. Centered, perfect. So everything is trimmed. Well, I got to pick off the little beards here. I'll use some masking tape. And let's see how this looks. Well, old folk don't do this as well as young folk. And here we are. That's a pretty nice dangly thing. Oop, dangle, dangle, got a dangle. Pretty nice dangly thing. So I hope you give this a try. They make great gifts. They're funky. You can make them as boho as you want or as elegant as you want. And they are so much fun to make. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Please hit the thumbs up. And by all means, please stay safe, stay well, stay healthy. And bye for now.